YouTube, this is Omagent here, bringing you my third Black Ops 2 Zombie Ideas video, where I'm going to be discussing the various ideas that I've had for what could happen in Black Ops 2 Zombies. Today I'll be covering the various zombie game modes that I think could appear in Black Ops 2. It's already been confirmed by Treyarch, is that we will be seeing an expansion from the traditional survival mode game type, which we all know and love in zombies. And we'll be seeing various new ideas, especially bringing out of the competitive side, and will be integrated more into Call of Duty Elite. The first game mode, which has been confirmed by Treyarch, it's the only one that's been confirmed so far, is 4v4 zombies, where you're competing not against the zombies, but against another team of players. It's been coined 4z4 by Treyarch. So my theory of what this will be is that obviously it's going to two teams against each other, but it will not simply be two teams that are in the same map together. This wouldn't work in my opinion, because they'll be able to kill each other too easily if they can actually hit each other, and that will just turn into a regular team deathmatch, which will take attention away from the zombies aspect. So instead the map will be split into two halves, with one team on one half and one team on the other. The areas where the map is split will be remodeled, with barricades and zombie spawn points inserted between the two to keep the team separate. So the various gameplay aspects will always have to be changed when coming into it to help out with the competitive nature. The first one is the power-ups that zombies drop. There's going to be two, in my opinion, there's going to be two power-ups that could drop. There's the green power-ups, which we are familiar with, which are positive and benefit your team. But there will also be a chance of zombies dropping red power-ups, which are negative and harm the other team. So instead of, say, double points, there are half points. Instead of a max ammo, there's a ammo removal from the other team, stuff like that. Okay, so it's just an idea of sabotaging the other team to make their survival a bit harder. There will also be new utilities. The first one is the Avatar machine. It's been based on the equipment in the movie Avatar. It's a status pod, so you enter it for a cost of 5,000 points a go, and it steals you away from the zombies and spawns you as whatever special type of zombie appears on that map, and allows you to attack the other team as a zombie, but you remain in full control. So the advantages of using this equipment are you can do a lot of damage to the other teams because you are an intelligent zombie. You can think ahead. You can, do things that the regular zombie AI can't. So, for example, if they're trying to train, you can just stand right in the middle of their train spots and screw their attempts to do it. You can sort of hide around corners, peek out of them, stuff like that. This enables players to go AFK. Was one of the problems that zombies has had in multiplayer is the inability to pause the game. So it would turn into a sort of war of attrition, where because very few people have the time to spend hours and hours playing zombies at a time. They have to do things like have dinner, go to bed, go to the toilet. So this would basically allow players to go AFK for a bit at a time, staying in the pod safe, and just put their zombie somewhere in the map where the other players won't harm it. Okay, so however, there are disadvantages of using the Avatar machine. So it'll take up a lot of points, 5,000 per go, and there's always one fewer pod than the number of players in the team. So say it's a 4-player team, there will be 3 pods available, and if there's only 3 players in a team, there will only be 2 pods. So that means that there will always be at least one person in your team fighting the zombies, and the more of you that go into pods, the more they'll have to deal with. So if, say, 3 of you go into a pod, there'll be one guy having to deal with 3 or 4 times as many zombies as he would have on solo, which means there'll be a great burden on his ammo, and it'll be hard for him to survive. And if all the players who are out of the pods die, the pods will open and deposit those who are in the pods. And also you'll exit the pods when the zombie that you spawned has died. So if the other players gets hit with a wonder weapon or whatever, kill it instantly, that's a pretty big waste of 5,000 points. So yeah, basically that's it. So the extreme would be if 3 players enter the pod, one person on the team has to deal with a huge amount of zombies, but the other team's gonna have 3 special zombies bearing down on them at once. So if, say, they brought back Call of the Dead, I definitely wouldn't want to be facing 3 George Romeros, all knowing, thinking like a human and stuff like that. So definitely be an interesting twist to sabotage the other team, but at the risk of weakening your own team. So the second utility I came up with was the hacker station. So this is a computer desk somewhere in the map, and it's free to use, but you have to use the hacker equipment on it. And basically it lets you to control the utilities on the other team's side of the map, such as electric defenses, sentry guns, fire traps, all that kind of stuff. So when you're using it, you're not protected from the zombies like you would be in the avatar machine. So you have to use it quickly, and it would be a skill in the community to be able to use the hacker station quickly, because obviously they're saying there will be big maps in Black Ops 2, so it will be hard to pinpoint exactly what utility you want to hack. It'll cost. It's free to get into the machine, but to hack any of the equipment on the enemy side of the map, you'll have to pay. So for example, if they turn on electric defense for 1,000 points, you go into the hacker station and hack it. That costs you 1,000 points, and you switch it off. And now, they could be like thinking, "Oh, our rear safe, we got the electric defense on," and then they turn around and there's a huge crowd of zombies. He's bearing down on them because the electric defense is off, or they're running around the map. One of them doesn't have a juggernaut, and then you flick on the defense and effectively trap them in an area. But if they try and get through it, they're history. So it's quite an interesting thing. So it would definitely be quite a funny thing to see, just defenses turn on and off and stuff like that. Also, there's a reward for finishing a particular round quickly, because obviously you're exposed while you're hacking the station, but if your team can finish the round and get their zombies out of the way first, then the other team, you'll be free to hack their equipment and do whatever you like to them, because they'll be busy fighting the zombies, and you can just mess up their utilities, turning them on and off and all kinds of things. Definitely mess with their minds. Just maybe like if you later in the game when you have a lot of points to spare, you can start flicking them on and off, so they have literally no idea what utilities they can trust. I've also come up with an exclusive weapon for 4Z4, and it's the QED mortar. So this is basically a mortar that fires QEDs, which we saw on Moon. So this will be the only weapon that you'll be able to fire into the other team's side of the map, but because it's QEDs, you have no idea what it's going to do. It could spawn on max ammo, it could spawn them more zombies, it could make their special type of zombie sprint. You literally have no idea what's going on. You could also use the QED to benefit your own team, because there will be an opportunity to fire it into your side of the map instead of their side of the map, but obviously there'll be a bit of a sprint to get to it. Okay, so that's the various gameplay aspects of it. For ways to win, this will be the most important thing. It is a competitive game type, so the basic way to win will be to eliminate the other team completely. So all of them are downed, and at least someone in your team is alive and kicking. That'll be the sort of standard way to win. So no matter what the victory conditions, if this happens, your team will have won. But of course there will be other ways of doing it, and the ones I've come up with are after a certain amount of rounds or a certain amount of time, which would be an interesting twist, because obviously people will be unwilling to use the crawler technique to allow them to get some safe weapons, because it'll mean they're wasting time. So after a certain amount of time or a certain number of rounds, the team that has the most kills, the most points, the most headshots, or the fewest number of downs wins. So yeah, it's an interesting strategy. It'll definitely make some fast-paced action as players try and get the most kills. The most headshots will be quite an interesting one, because everyone will be trying to be very precise. Because I mean, do you go for the kills, which means you can kill more zombies quicker to get you more points to allow you to sabotage the other team, or do you go for the headshots, which are what you'll need to win anyway, no matter how much you sabotage the other team? So that's the first type of game mode. The second type that I came up with is Infection. So this is a modification of the existing survival game type. It's similar to regular zombies, except that instead of just health, you also have an infection level. So every time you're hit, you'll lose health, but you'll also gain infection. And infection doesn't diminish like your health regenerates, it'll stay as it is. So you build up infection over time. So the effects of an infection are your screen will go more red, sort of red tendrils will start to appear on the edge, that your vision will go blurry, your character starts shaking, you'll be able to sprint for less, it's stuff like that. Similar to the pain system on DayZ. And so basically how it works is that it makes you cautious about being hit, because as you can see, when you have Juggernaut in regular zombies, you sort of become a bit careless about if you're hit once or twice, because you know it's not that big a threat. But when you're infected, because it's cumulative, you're gonna definitely panic a bit, because every hit is gonna make it harder and harder to survive. Now, obviously, there are ways to reduce your infection. These will be maybe a perk that you drink reduces your infection to 0, and the perk goes away. As well as if you get downed and then you either self-revive on solo or revived in multiplayer, your infection will be cleared to 0 again. But obviously, downing yourself isn't that a beneficial tactic, as we saw in World at War, where downing was helped to cancel the anti-Juggernaut effect of the Wunderwaffe. So those will be the two ways to clear your infection, which will either way will cost you a few points because you have to rebuy perks. Okay, so basically the idea of this infection is basically to make it harder and harder to survive as the rounds go on, because it's a sort of cumulative effect. And it also makes you a lot more cautious about the zombies that are attacking you, because you'll definitely want to avoid them, and avoid being hit wherever possible, because every hit will make it harder for you to survive. So the final game mode idea I came up with is endable zombies. Now, we've already seen this in the World of War custom maps, where they have viable endings and stuff like that, where you spend points and you build up enough points and you can just buy your way out of the map and you've succeeded. However, in this endable zombies, it'll be the Easter egg, because the zombie storyline has always been a major part of the zombies game mode. And starting in the Ascension map in Black Ops, the story was told through an Easter egg that you had to complete across the map. So you did the Easter egg, and you sort of found out what the story was, Vector's grand scheme, Casimir mechanism, all those kind of things. So basically that's how it works. And also in endable zombies there aren't rounds, it's a timed gameplay, as we saw on the Area 51 on the moon. So so the zombies will always be coming to you, and as time goes on, zombies will sprint faster and gain more health. So basically this game mode will be those who are interested in the story of zombies, because the Easter egg will only be able to be completed in this game mode. Also, it's good for fast-paced action, as we saw on in Area 51 was a very fun place to be in, because you didn't have to wait for the zombies to spawn. There was a very short cooldown in time before you got right into the action. So it'll definitely be a fun game mode to play. There'll also be a competitive nature to it, because the challenge will be to finish the Easter egg in the shortest amount of time possible, and that'll definitely be a leaderboards. A lot of people will be competing to get the Easter egg done as soon as possible, because as we saw in the maps, there was a huge competition as every map pack was released for who could get the Easter egg done first. So those are the game modes that I've come up with for Black Ops 2 Zombies, to expand the zombies experience, making you more cautious, fast-paced action, and generally just ways to get competitive. Feedback's appreciated, and I hope to bring you the final episode of my Black Ops 2 Zombies ideas tomorrow. For then, goodbye.